Visual appeal versus functionality, a beginner's guide to website development. So what is the difference between visual appeal and functionality? Quite simply stated, visual appeal is how your site looks, its graphics. Functionality is how your site performs while performing specific tasks. Let's explore this topic by using a real-world example. Let's apply visual appeal and functionality to a periwinkle flower. First of all, from a visual standpoint, a periwinkle flower has purple petals. It grows to a height of 1 to 2 feet. Its foliage is glossy and green, and it looks good as ground cover. How does a periwinkle flower function? First of all, it is native to North America. It is used in medicine, easy to grow, and its flowers grow in the summer. Visual appeal, what does it mean? To answer this question, we are going to do a side-by-side comparison between the periwinkle flower and a website. The commonality between a periwinkle flower and a website lies in the fact that they both have values that define their appearance. For example, the periwinkle flower has purple petals. It grows to a height of between 1 and 2 feet. The foliage is glossy and green, and it looks good as ground cover. In comparison, a website can have text that is purple. The text size can be small. It may utilize a glossy background image, and it can be appealing to artists. Building on the side-by-side comparison of the periwinkle flower and a website, we are going to further define functionality. They both have specific values that define how they perform within a specific set of parameters. The periwinkle flower is native to North America and is able to survive through the greater portion of the United States. In comparison, a website can be developed to function on mobile devices. The periwinkle flower has medicinal values that improves the pharmaceutical industry. In comparison, a website can have a value of increased user satisfaction by allowing the user to post comments. A periwinkle flower is reported by gardeners that it is easy to grow. In comparison, a website can have features within its user interface that allows someone with no programming experience to update the site. And finally, a periwinkle flower has flowers that bloom in the summer. In comparison, a website can be developed so that logged-in users have a secure connection. For this next slide, I am going to branch off from the text that is contained within the slide. I strongly suggest that you pause this video and read this slide because there is extremely important information. I am going to simplify the definition of software requirement by defining the people involved with any software project. Simply stated, there are 3 different types of people involved with the creation and use of software. They are stakeholders, developers, and users. The stakeholders are the individuals that are deciding what the needs are for the software and defining the requirements. The developers are the programmers that work directly with the stakeholders to find the best method to meet those requirements. And finally, the users are who the software is being developed for. Perfect example of this is YouTube. So first off, we have the stakeholders. They come up with an idea in which users can share videos with each other. Next step, they present this idea to a team of developers, and the developers respond with an idea for software in which a user can access the software via a web browser. The user then creates a profile. Once that profile is created, they have the ability to upload videos and then share those videos with other users. It is a software engineering standard that the programmer behind any software project should explicitly define the requirements, also explicitly defining how those requirements will be met. So from a stakeholder's perspective, if I have no knowledge of software or software development, my explanation of what needs to be done with the software is going to be rather broad and non-explicit. In contrast, if the stakeholders behind the software are software developers, then the requirements for the software are going to be explicitly defined and will include specifications that only other software engineers that work within the same area of software will be capable of understanding. A real-world example could be a user that needs to get to somewhere, so they ask someone for directions. A non-explicit response would be drive to the barn and turn right. An explicitly defined example would be that you're to drive 2.3 miles north, head east on Main Street, then drive for another 4.6 miles, and the cafe is on the south side or right side of Main Street. The address is 1212 Main Street. Expect that if you're driving between the hours of 3 and 5 p.m., traffic is going to be rather slow, and that you should allow for at least another 15-20 minutes to drive, etc., etc., etc. Building on explicit and non-explicit definitions, we are going to use one example when it comes to functionality. So the non-explicit definition simply states that it must work on mobile devices. Explicitly defined, the site will have a responsive design that formats to fit the size of the device screen. This function will be met by using a specific jQuery JavaScript library integrated into the CSS and designed, tested, and proved to have worked on previous current WordPress content management systems. As well, it will also be guaranteed to function within iPhone 5 and 6 and all Android devices created after 2009. Quite a difference there. So here are a few things to remember. I'm not going to read each and every one, but I will go through at least a few of them to further expand on what's been stated here. Again, I strongly encourage you to pause the video and read the entire slides. First of all, visual appeal is how your site looks. Functionality is how your site works. So non-explicit requirements may cost less up front, but costs may increase if and when a need for an explicit functionality arises. Case in point, a company decides that they have a need for software that allows their sales team to record information about their client meeting. A PHP web-based application is then created to meet those software requirements. At a later date, the company then decides that their sales application must be further integrated with their Windows desktop systems and Windows network. The company must then pay for the costs associated with creating entirely new software. The software is identical to the previous software with the exception that it works within Windows systems. Explicitly defined requirements may cost more upfront, but costs may be reduced when a need for additional explicit functionality arises. Case in point, a newly formed manufacturing company makes a decision that part of their sales will be the result of e-commerce. The company then spends a great deal of time explicitly defining their software requirements. After careful consideration of costs and the need for expandability, the company decides that they will utilize shared hosting and content management systems developed within open source software. The company also plans to create a system that's scalable in the event the company's growth and user base continues to increase. The company continues to see increased growth and a higher demand for their e-commerce. They then implement their plan for scalability and migrate from shared hosting to dedicated hosting without having to rewrite the software. Do you have questions, comments, or feedback? Please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Mike Stratton. My number is 330-802-0285. As well, you can find me online at www.mikestratton.net. Thanks. Have a great one.